So welcome to this 5 elements yin yoga practice this afternoon. We'll be taking a journey through the 5 elements of Chinese medicine, of earth, metal, water, wood and fire. So working around the whole body, stimulating through all these meridian lines and energy channels to allow the energy to flow more freely within the subtle body, and also to get deep into the connective tissue and the fascia of the body to relieve any tension, tightness, blockages, stagnation, any emotion. So take a few rounds of breath here to feel into where the body is at in this very moment. Start to sink everything down. So the whole essence of yin yoga is to sink in, is to surrender, to let the tissues, the body, the muscle, everything to be heavy, more relaxed, soft and supple, that there is no activation, that it's this complete surrendering down into the earth, the energy of the earth supporting the body. Just take 3 breaths here to just kind of sink and settle in. Today's practice will be a little more shorter than normal. Your last inhalation might be in through the nose, and then an exhalation through the mouth, just to allow everything to float away that is not needed here on your mat. Any thoughts, worries, concerns, to-do lists. And then bring your knees in towards your chest as you take your next breath in. Take a little wriggle and rock from side to side, massage into your lower spine. Check into all these little points. And you can either just roll over to one side, or you can just really gently rock up. So we're working with this earth energy first here to sink in, to get grounded, to bring more balance into the mind. We'll turn to the left and then take the legs nice and wide. Coming into, so turn sideways on your mat, it's probably easier. So you can be practicing here with just a thin mat. You could have a thicker mat. We've got some mattresses here and then just a blanket on top. We're not using any props today. So you don't have to necessarily use props in yin yoga. So it's about, again, just allowing the body to kind of relax and sink into these shapes. So take your glutes and just shift them back. So you can have a little pelvic tilt forward here as we're rounding forward into this pose. We want to relax through the feet, the ankles, the knees, everything is soft. And then just relax your arms down, palms facing up, and let your chin tuck towards your chest. Your body will just stop wherever it needs to in this shape, which will be the first edge you'll find. And with this edge, it is a workable edge. There is no forceful action. Allowing the spine to relax, the shoulders, the neck, the arms, the palms, even the fingertips, the toes, the feet, the ankles, the knees, the thighs. And just get this essence, this practice of really sinking. You might take a few deep breaths to just settle in with each exhalation you take, allowing everything to melt to the earth. Bringing in a sense of compassion for where your body is today. Every day is different. How you show up each day may be different. self-observation, meditation, stillness and silence is all part of balancing through the earth element. The emotion related to the earth element is this overthinking and worrying about our entire environment. Whether that be your self, your relationships, the earth, the environment that you see outside of yourself, which ultimately is a reflection of our inner environment, what is happening inside. So if there is stress, if there is worry, if there is doubt, then this can manifest as an imbalance in, normally with the earth element, the stomach and the spleen are the organ systems. So we're looking at bringing some more energy, some more awareness to the belly. Earth element, earth energy encourages us to choose only the things that nourish us in life. These are the things that we're taking in to the body through the digestive system. And the things that we're giving out into the world. What is it that we're offering? Earth element is also about giving, about service. And really we're all here on earth to be of service in some way, shape or form. To allow any self-doubt to dissolve, it is bringing in a sense of trust. That what you have to offer out into the world is unique. And it is well received. Let's take our last few deeper breaths here, relaxing even more through the upper body. Maybe the shoulders drop and you find your next edge here as we travel and journey just through 3 more deep inhalations and exhalations to surrender, to offer yourself to the earth. And when we come out of these shapes, we are coming out with awareness, with softness, slowly, mindfully, carefully. Little by little, just slowly come up with as little movement as possible and just stay upright for a moment, settling into the hips, finding that sense of connectivity to the earth through the pelvis, and just allowing everything to kind of unravel in the body naturally. And when you feel ready, you might just take your hands and give your knees a little massage. Your thighs or your adductors, the inner parting of your legs, which is really what we're targeting there, is through the spleen meridian line that travels through the inner seam of the legs. Also the liver and the kidney, so 3 in 1 with that pose. That's why I love it so much. And when you feel ready, you can gently bring your legs together. We'll take the legs behind us now and come into an all fours position, hands and knees. So just slowly guide yourself to hands and knees. If you feel like a little bit of movement here, take a bit of movement through the hips, swaying, or some cat and cows to stretch through the stomach and the spine. Good. And we're coming into the metal element now. So this generating cycle, the earth produces these minerals and metals in life. So this is all about alignment and structure. Even though we really don't have alignment in yin yoga, this pose, there is a little. So you want to keep your knees and hips in one line. This pose is called Anahatasana, melting heart, which will stretch through the arm lines. So the metal element, the lung and the large intestine. The toes can be tucked here, or the tops of the feet can be into the earth. And you want to bring your chest close down to the earth. So start walking your hands forward, lowering your chest down. Your head can rest down onto the mat, or your chin could be forward if you have a lot of mobility in the shoulder joint. No one right way to do the pose. However, we just want to tune into these subtle alignments to get the purpose of the pose, but always adjusting and taking a different variation to suit your body. If you have a lot of tightness around the chest and the shoulders, you might take your arms a little bit wider and even bend your elbows. But we're trying not to sink the hips all the way back or all the way forward. So it's this sense of melting the heart towards the earth. Stimulating more so here the lung, and even compressing in the outer arms of the large intestine if you feel a little bit of compression through the shoulders. And then we're also stimulating into the heart, so the fire element at the same time, which are opposite in the 5 elements, this generating cycle. So a little bit shorter for this pose, as it can be quite strong on the upper body. If you feel like you need to come out of the shape early, you can slide onto your belly. But notice if it's the mind that's grasping and holding on here. Can you surrender? Can you let go? So the metal element is all about letting go. If we think about these 2 organ systems in the body, we have the lungs. We're breathing in life constantly. That's what's keeping us here in this human form. And the large intestine is assimilation. It is letting go what is not needed in the body to be processed, to be sent back into the earth, almost like we're reversing that cycle. So that includes thoughts, ideas, concepts, habits, beliefs that we hold on to. Maybe tune in and think about one thing. It could be an emotion, could be a way of constricted thinking, some form of belief, some form of rigidity is what we see with the metal element. If we look outside and see how metal shows up, it's very straight, it's strong, hard, rigid. It doesn't like to be bent. So this is kind of the energy that we see with the metal element. We want to bring in some more openness, curiosity, less rigidity. Last breath here. And when you come out of this pose, nice to just slide down onto the belly and place one ear to the mat and rest your arms down by your side. Again, very slowly, mindfully, coming out of the pose is just as important as the pose, the shape itself. Sound effects are always welcome. Anything that wants to come out, a sigh, a sound, allow it to flow through your body, to be released. We now move onto the water element. So as we see this generating cycle of the elements, the metal element, the minerals, is where we get our life from, the water. So the minerals that are in the water. Water element inviting us to bring more fluidity into life, more flow, more acceptance, more adaptability. Let's slide our hands underneath our shoulders here. And from this position, we will tuck the toes, come up into a downward facing dog. So lift the hips up. And take a little pedal out here and just notice what's happening through the back line of your body. So the water element is the bladder line, the entire back line of the body, the longest meridian in the body also. And we will slowly walk the fingers, the hands back to the feet. So bending the knees. And we're coming into a ragdoll position or a dangling position, which we will release through the entire urinary bladder line. Maybe just turning sideways on your mat there, Anya. Just coming this way. Yeah, just on the side. Yeah. So this is not about straight legs. This is a rounding. This is bending the knees as much as you need to release and to take any pressure that might be present through the vertebrae, the spine. Often we'll feel a lot of density in the lumbar spine. This is often where we have disharmony, injury, sensitivity. And they say 80 to 90% of people will, if not have experience, will experience some form of back pain in their lifetime. Some of that reasoning is because we are putting our bodies into unnatural shapes each day by sitting in chairs, unnatural for the body. So as much as you can, standing, sitting on the floor, connecting to the earth energy. Releasing through the spine, fluidly moving. The emotion related to the water element is fear. And I always relate this to, often we fear not only things that we haven't done, that we are approaching, we're often in fear of the same things repeating from the past. And so we choose not to do something based on a past experience. And so if we look at this particular line in the body, it's behind, what is behind us? Often we're fearing something that's behind us. So this whole practice is bringing us back into the moment, into the body, into the breath, to be in the present moment and allow the past to dissolve, that you can never step in the same river twice. Take your last few breaths here. So just because something has happened in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen again. We can never assume. Take a nice deep breath in through the mouth or in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just sighing it away. And you might just want to come into a squat position from here, just for a moment or two. So take the feet a little bit wider and sink the hips down, just as kind of a counter pose here, which is really nice to release through the back after forward folding for that amount of time. So you can leave your hands on the floor here. If you want to find stillness, or take a little gentle, subtle rock, or maybe even kind of twisting the spine a little from one side to the other. Okay, and then we can just sink the hips down and then swing the legs forward on the mat facing me. We come into the wood element now, so the water provides the nourishment, the nutrients for the wood to go. So the wood really means the trees. So if we look outside and we see what kind of energy the trees, the plants are animating, they're up, like it's an upward energy. It's expansive, it's growing. So that's really what the wood element is about. And we are looking at the gallbladder, which runs through the side of the body. So the meridian line, and also the liver, which runs again through the inside. So this next pose will target the gallbladder, so the glutes. Let's try this out, because there's a couple of different ways to get into this pose, and it certainly does not suit everyone. So I've always got a different pose and a different option. So from both legs forward, cross your left leg over your right. So your knees are lined up here. So your knees actually it's down and your foot's on the side. So you can lean back here on your fingertips and then see if you can cross your opposite leg underneath. Great, so that is kind of the setup of this pose, as long as you can sit in between your ankles and you're lining your knees up to the best of your ability there. You might already feel this through the hips, yeah? So if we've got a lot of tightness around this area of the body, we could even stay here. If you feel okay to start to drop forward, again, it's this kind of surrendering forward here without any effort, just to a place where you feel often the top leg. So in your case, the left leg, you may feel a little bit more through the left glutes here. For those of you that cannot get into this pose, there is a square pose that is available. So it's simply crossing the legs. It's creating a little bit of space, so you see a triangle in the middle, your ankles are underneath your knees, your shins are parallel, and then you just come forward in this shape. Again, you access the same area. So there is a purpose to each pose. The wood element is all about purpose. It's about drive. The archetype of the wood element is the pioneer or the entrepreneur, always taking action and doing. So on the other side of that, when we overdo, when we take too much action, the body starts to tense. We can feel it a lot through the hips, the IT band, the iliotibial band that runs through the side of the legs. The emotions related to the wood element are anger, so frustration and anger. This is what we can hold in the body when we are stressed, imbalanced, when we are not listening, and we are too yang. Lots of yang energy in the wood element, as we can see this constant growth, upward energy, expansion. So yin is perfect to balance this element of slowing down, of coming into stillness, acceptance. When we learn to balance these disharmonious emotions like frustration and anger, when we can learn to dissolve those emotions, get them out of the body, out of the tissues, we can start to develop a sense of kindness and compassion always. That we can transform those energies and emotions at any given moment if we choose to. How we react, how we choose to respond in life can always be met with kindness and compassion. And really that's where we see the most amount of growth in life. When we can adapt, when we can be like bamboo, we are strongly rooted into the earth, grounded. We know where we're going. We're shooting for the stars in the sky. We have aspirations, goals. However, when the winds of change come, and they always do, that we can move and sway with the wind. Those that bend cannot break. Last few breaths here in this shape. Very gently start to lift the upper body up. Take a moment and pause at the top. You can feel yourself lengthening and growing. And then really take as much time to unravel the legs. And just stretch them forward. Take a moment again, without moving or shaking if you can, settling into stillness. And you might want to shuffle a little bit further forward on your mat, so your feet are at the top end. And then just bring the soles of your feet together, taking this butterfly shape with a nice diamond shape rather than bringing your feet up in towards your groin. And we're walking back in this shape, so it's nice to take a nice wide kind of goalpost arms here, or cactus arms. So when you get down onto your spine, take your arms nice and wide. We want to take this pose as more of this opening through the front of the body and the heart. So lie all the way down and then bring your arms out nice and wide. If you have a bolster, you could always have a bolster underneath to get more expansion through the chest. What we're going for here is really this focus of the arms as well as the hips and the inner thighs. And if we draw our attention to the upper body, the arms and the heart, we start to bring in the energy of the fire element. It's love, it's joy, it's expansion as well. It's outward energy. It's this offering to the world. If we think about the arms, they are an extension of the heart. Our arms are what we use to embrace and hug. Our hands, where these meridian lines and channels are what we are giving with constantly in life. We are offering with our hands. If we do any form of energy work, we are doing that through the essence, the energy of the heart. So bring your attention to that very part of your body that is pumping blood around to all of your organs. The heart is where the Shen, the spirit, resides. So we always want to pay attention to the heart. Compassion, gratitude, openness. Always offering out into the world from this place of love and compassion. So let's take a moment to breathe into the chest, to expand this energy outward. As you exhale, the energy just softens and resides back in. As you inhale, the chest, the heart, the energy expands out. As you exhale, the energy softens. As you inhale again, feeling that sense of expansion, of openness. As you exhale, everything softens. Taking last few deep breaths here to expand your energy body outward, to lift your heart, and to soften into all parts of the body. The soft always overcomes the hard and rigid. And let's very slowly, mindfully start to extend the legs. And then slowly bring the arms down, resting one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart, left hand heart, right hand belly. Settling the energy back inward. Giving yourself the energy back into your own heart. And then gently start to release your hands and slide them underneath your glutes, so underneath your bum. Palms facing down. Just place a little activation into your belly. Take an inhalation. As you exhale, lift yourself up. So press into your forearms and lift your upper body up to sit in an L shape. And slowly come upright. Great. Let's come on to the other side of our shoelace pose. So we'll take the right leg now, cross it over the left if we manage to get into that pose from this way. There are many other ways to get into the pose as well. We'll just run with this one, tilting back, and then opposite leg crosses. You're sitting in between your ankles. Otherwise, if this is not available, you're just taking that cross leg position, coming forward, accessing the same lines, depending on the structure of your body. Everybody is unique and different. That's another essence of the wood element, always wanting to be unique, finding your own way. So whenever you're ready, if you want to fold forward in this shape, you come on down and allow everything to relax. Or you can stay upright if that's what your body is asking for today. Shoulders relaxed, neck, head heavy, palms, arms lightly touching the earth rather than holding or strengthening in any way to be in this shape. Relax the belly here, allow everything to be soft and supple. Notice if you are activating the lower part of your body through the legs or the hips. It's a little bit of a compression here as well as we're pouring our weight forward. So finding that balance. Possibly to get you through the sometimes intensity that we may feel through these deep hip openers. A more watery, fluid breath may help you. Even a visualization of the water element which supports the wood element. So bringing in more of this oceanic, fluid, expansive breath and moving the breath into the areas where you feel the most sensation. Inhaling a sense of peace and exhaling any stress or tension. And observing and noticing when you place your attention on these parts of the body that are calling your attention. Is there any movement? Is there any change? Is there a sense of expansion? Whatever we place our attention on always expands. Let's take our last few deeper breaths here. Grateful for the rains that have come to feed the growth of the trees, the wood, the plants, to provide us with the life, with energy. And then very gently start to come up out of the shape. Keeping the awareness inward, just taking a moment as you rise to relax, to sense into the body. And then very gently start to unwrap the legs, extend them forward, relax the weight down, soften the feet. And very gently, mindfully starting to lower yourself all the way down to find your last posture, shape, pose. That could look like a Shavasana for you, where your whole body is relaxed. There's nothing that you need to do, create, no shapes. Just coming back to the earth element as we've created this full cycle of sinking and dropping everything down. Anything that you wish to be recycled, transformed. Allowing everything to sink. And this way the body is able to receive what is fresh, what is new. To regenerate the cells in your body, to rejuvenate, the body, mind, heart, spirit. And taking as much time as you would like to in your final meditation. I thank you all for practicing with me today. And I will see you on the next journey. Namaste.